Turner from City Girl Gardening, and I came out this morning because I've been doing a little bit of research on increasing the chicks' egg production, as well as creating a clean and safe environment for the hens. I keep calling them chicks because they were once my chicks, and now they're all grown up and they have started to lay eggs. And I found during my research that chicks, there are different diseases, just like with all animals, that chickens can get. And of course, with your chickens, you don't take them to the vet. You know, they don't get immunizations like a lot of the other animals and things do. And so you have to find over-the-counter remedies or things that you can use to prevent your chicks from getting sick and increasing their egg production. And during my research, I found that herbs, dried or fresh herbs, are good for your chicks. Since I do have in the garden, I have here lavender, I have some pineapple sage, I have chamomile, and I do have some marigold flowers over there. Those are some of the herbal things that chicks can eat to keep them, to help with their digestion, to help with their respiratory system, to strengthen their immune system, to keep them from getting sick, have a decreased egg production, just getting sick overall and dying. And so I do definitely want to keep the chicks healthy. Not only do I have the lavender, the pineapple sage, chamomile growing in the garden, along with my marigolds, I do have some Italian oregano, I have some German thyme, I do have another kind of thyme and oregano. I had two different varieties, as well as I have rosemary, I have peppermint, and I have spearmint outgrowing in the garden. And all of these aid in the overall health of the chicks. The lavender will help them be calm and relaxed as they are in the nesting boxes and laying eggs. It will keep them from being so feisty or stressed out, because when chicks get under stress, their egg production tends to decrease. So I want to keep them calm, relaxed, stress-free from predators, stress-free from being sick or obtaining any disease, any parasites or lice. And a lot of these herbs that I called out that I have growing here in the garden, they also have these scents that repel rodents, they repel insects, mites, and things that can infest under the feathers and on the body of the hens. And so I definitely want to keep the coop good and clean, keep a safe environment, and then that aids in increased egg production, healthy eggs, and overall good chicken health. But I came out earlier this morning, and I didn't get it all on video because I felt like I didn't really have time to get all of it on video, because I do have to get in a little bit and get to work. But I came out to the garden and I picked a bunch of the herbs. So the one thing that I did forget to pick was some of the marigold flowers, but now that I see them, I'm going to get some and put them into my bowl. Here I just took one of my meal prep containers. I use my solder gun that I have here, and it's just like a hot gun. It heats up, and you can put holes in plastic. You can put holes in the plastic flower pots. It makes things a little bit easier when you come across things that you want to use for your garden and they don't have like drainage holes, or you want to find some DIY projects. Having a solder gun makes things a lot easier instead of trying to take a drill or a hot screwdriver. Before, I was heating a hot screwdriver over our gas stove and using that to put holes into my flower pots that did not have holes in the bottom. But now that I have the solder gun, I use that and it's much easier. But I have taken a meal prep bowl container. you can see the 2 holes that I do have here. I pulled some herbs, took them in, washed them. I took the rosemary off of their sprigs. I pulled off some of the peppermint, cut up some of the German thyme, the Italian oregano, some of the different herbs. My lavender hasn't started flowering yet, but I did pull lavender, and I just pulled some of the leaves and things off of the sprigs. And I got a big chunk of the pineapple sage. My pineapple sage and the peppermint, they are doing really well out. Those are some of the fall and winter herbs. They can sustain the cold temperatures, so I can have them growing throughout this fall and winter season, as well as the thyme, the spearmint, the rosemary, and also chamomile. I have the chamomile over there, and I am going to put a little bit of chamomile in here as well, because chamomile aids in, I think it was calming the chicks as well with the lavender, and it also aids in, I think it was in digestion. So I am going to pull just a few pieces of that and add it over into my bowl of herbs. I don't have any parsley or cilantro and basil outgrowing in the garden, because those are some of your more spring and summer herbs. They don't do very well in the cooler temperatures, so I didn't put any of that out in the garden. So I did have some dried basil, dried parsley, and some dried cilantro that I have in the kitchen for cooking, and I just sprinkled it over into the container and mixed everything up. It smells so good. Like, I can leave this out like some air freshener in the house, and it will smell so good. These fresh herbs, and I think I may start doing some of the drying some of them out and putting them in maybe some type of satin sackcloth and putting them around in the house to kind of give it that woodsy, fresh smell. But I'm just going to pull just a few of the, excuse me, the chamomile sprigs off and just lay it over on top. I dropped one, but anyway, there it is. And I'm going to pull a few more and just lay them across the top. And they will, might need to break those up because they're a little big. Get them in there. And then I'm going to get some of my marigold flowers. I have a few of these that I am going to pull off of my marigolds that I do have here in this bed. And then I have a bigger one here. And I'm just going to put those over the top of the herbs, and I'm going to fasten this onto the chicken coop on the side of one of the chicken coops near their feeder, so that they can go over and eat some of the fresh herbs. This is what it looks like. The chicks are going to love that. I need to get one of my zip ties so that I can go ahead and zip tie it onto the side. I have a lot of garden supplies, and I used to keep my garden supplies in the house, but I don't anymore. I ended up having to invest in a big tote. This tote has wheels on it, so I can pull it out in the yard. And as you can see here, I have everything that I could possibly use, tools and everything. My sprayers, I have my different fertilizers, I have seed trays, I have liquid fertilizers, granular fertilizers, I have some pots. I have everything that I could possibly need for the garden. And then I have a second tote as well. Excuse me. I have a second tote as well. And in this tote, I have more of my seeding things. I did put on top of here, I do have a little bit of landscaping cloth, and then as you can see, I do have seed trays and containers, and I have my trusty tripod when I am doing some videos out. But I have, this is where I also keep my zip ties. So in this tray, in this tote, so I do have both of my garden totes here on the, sitting on the back porch. Something's keeping it from closing down. But we're gonna go ahead and put that lid back on there, and we are going on out to the coop. My eggs came. I ended up ordering a 9-pack of eggs from Amazon, and they came yesterday. They delivered them yesterday, and I put them down in the coop. This will keep, in the box. I can tell the difference between the fake eggs and the real eggs. And in this container that I have here, I do have 3 eggs in there. 2 of them are fake eggs and 1 is a real egg. This will keep them from jumping and playing and pooping, just sitting and roosting into the nesting boxes. But back to this video, this is the HERBAL basket that I am going to put up here in the coop. So I'm going to get this attached because I did not bring the tripod out so that I could catch it on video, and it's hard for me to do that. Attach this with the zip ties onto the coop while holding a phone using one hand. So I am going to go ahead and get these herbs put here in the nesting box, or put near the nesting box. They can feed on these, as well as I did put down some oyster shells. Oyster shells help with stronger eggs, providing calcium to the hen so that the shells on the eggs are nice, hard, and it gives them the added nutrients that they need in order to produce nice, hard-shelled eggs. If you ever have hens or chicks and the eggs, the shells of the eggs are soft and they're getting smashed and cracked easily, it could be some sort of calcium deficiency. So you definitely want to get some of the oyster shells or some sort of calcium supplement to aid in hard shell production with the eggs, because I learned that it takes a hen 20 hours to produce an egg. So that's why they only lay maybe about 1, 2, maybe even 3 eggs per day, because it takes such a long time for them to produce eggs. But I definitely want to give them the herbs. This all smells so good. Like, I could take this in the house and just sit it out, and it smells so good, these fresh herbs. But I'm going to get this attached to the coop, and this is my video. The next time I will try to get a full video of me collecting them from the collecting the herbs from the garden, as well as getting them in the kitchen, cleaned up, processed, dried up, and show you guys how I did it. Thanks for tuning in. This is Dee, your City Girl Gardener. Go to my YouTube channel, like, share, subscribe, comment. Check me out on Facebook at City Girl Gardening, or YouTube channel City Girl Gardening 803. I'm Dee, and you guys have a nice day.